This is the LEGO art set, The Great Wave, set number 31208. It's got 1,810 pieces, rated 18+, and it does include a soundtrack for you to listen to, which seems a little bit interesting for a LEGO set. And as you can see, the dimensions of the overall print are 52 centimeters by 39 centimeters. It released on the 1st of January 2023, and here in the UK it costs £90 at full retail, or in the US $100. Although I do count myself pretty lucky because I managed to pick up this set for about £30, which is a crazy deal. Inside the box you'll find some of the numbered bags. They're numbered from 1 to 15. As you can see, especially for the later ones, there's quite a lot of the same number of bags. So that's going to be interesting. And speaking of interesting things, some of the boxes were inside this box, but then inside this box, which was inside that box, were some more bags. Yeah. But that's not all, because there was also these large 16 by 16 Technic brick panels and a bag that wasn't numbered but full of a bunch of 2 by 16 plates. The instructions were also slightly projected inside this cardboard envelope. And I have to say, they look so nice. Why can't all LEGO instruction booklets look this good? There are no stickers inside this set, so any of the small details you do see that are not brick built or plate built, they are done with prints, which is nice to see. And taking a quick look at the instruction booklet here, it's got an introduction to LEGO art, more about the set, the original artist, and some pictures of the other prints in his collection. And as someone who didn't know too much about this original painting, I'm pleased to have a little read up and learn more, because it's pretty interesting. Oh, and in case you didn't know, this is how you use a brick separator. Pretty useful stuff. Thanks, LEGO. I wouldn't have figured that out. And this is how the bags are divided into individual modules, so you can see bags 1 through 11 build the actual print, and then bags 12, 13, 14, and 15 build the frame around it. Oh, and spoiler warning, there are 142 steps across 190 pages. One thing that I was worried about was placing all of the individual dot tiles, because I thought that's not going to be fun, but luckily the instructions make it pretty clear, so each colour's got a certain number and it's easy to map out what goes where. And whilst it is a quite repetitive process, it's not that bad. I can just whack on some YouTube videos and just put these down without too much thought. I've just finished a build, and these are the leftover parts, all just typical 1x1 stuff and spare Technic elements. Nothing to be too shocking here, although maybe I missed something, maybe I didn't, but this is what to expect. Oh, and that brick separator was included as well, in case you didn't have one already. But if you're like me, then you probably got 50+, but it did come in handy because I did make a couple of mistakes. And here it is, the Great Wave. Ta-da! I just finished it. Oops, I knocked over a flower pot. But this set took me 4 hours to build, although I was watching 2 Pirates of the Caribbean films at the same time, so maybe I was a little bit slow. It didn't feel too repetitive at the time, but look at it. It looks really good. Phew, it's okay, I fixed the flower pot. Even just looking at it from a distance, this thing looks so good. The different use of parts, not just the dots, which honestly look a bit basic and bland, and I was almost tempted to not put them in and replace them with tiles and other textured elements, because the actual texture for the wave itself, using leaf elements and birds and different slopes, which does have a nice 3D effect when you turn it to its side. So it's a nice bit of 3D art in a kind of subtle way. Even the frame and the mount as well, a very solid build in the end, and how it clips into place. You can kind of easily remove the print itself if you want to display it separately or make your own custom frame. That wouldn't be too difficult to do. Likewise, if you like this frame and want to replicate it for other things, well, I do. It's so simple, but it works. And colour scheme wise, I was thinking, maybe the light flesh nougat colour here should have been replaced with tan, but then that would obviously conflict with the tan frame. You know, if you look at the print online, you can see kind of varying degrees of different colours. So I'm not sure if the light nougat was perhaps the best colour to use, but it works nicely overall. Of course, the main focus of the actual original art print is Mount Fuji, which is almost very subtle and overshadowed by the Great Wave in this particular print, but there it is. And yeah, I think that's pretty clear as to what it's trying to be. Of course, we do have a few prints with the nameplate here, and these, look at these. Yep, pretty Lego, a nice Legofication of what you'd find on the real art print. As I mentioned earlier, I was worried about having to place all of these dots, but it was pretty straightforward. The instructions made it real nice and easy, and everything else as it is kind of built in layers, so you don't have to worry. It can look like a very overwhelming art set to build, but it's fine. It's nice and easy. You build each of the 16 by 16 panels at once, you attach them all together at the end, and then you add a few more layers of different plates and things like the bird elements, and most of the leaves here added in as the final steps. and then you go on to build the frame, which is kind of symmetrical in a way, so it breaks it down into stages. And I got to the point where I was so confident putting it together, I didn't even need the instructions. I just guessed where things would go, and because it was so simple and straightforward. And this is what it looks like around the back. As you can see, you do have your picture mounting hooks. These are official LEGO parts designed to be hooked onto your screws, although it is quite heavy, so I wouldn't recommend just putting a few picture tacks in. Definitely want to put some strong screws into your wall if you're going to hang this up, and that's what I plan to do. I've got the perfect spot to hang this on my wall, and I can't wait to do it. Although one thing I noticed was to do with the colour variations in the actual bricks themselves, as you can potentially see by the 1x4 bricks versus the 1x2 next to it. They're a different shade of tan here, and maybe that's just me nitpicking, and some might say, oh, but it makes it look like more of a realistic wooden frame, and sure, I guess, but ultimately that's a fault of LEGO's quality control. They should be doing better for such an expensive set. And part of me is worried about accidentally knocking off the birds here. As you can see, they're just attached by the one stud, sticking out quite far there, but if it's hanging high up on the wall, you shouldn't have to worry. Just maybe be careful if you come to dusting. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this LEGO art set here. I didn't think I'd like LEGO art sets, but this one, I had my eye on it. I liked it from as soon as I saw it. I got it, and it sat in a box for a year, but now I finally have space to put it on this boring bit of grey wall, which I'm stood in front of now. So I'm going to put a screw in there, hang it up, and it's going to look great. What do you guys think? Do you have this set? Do you have other LEGO art sets? Do you recommend any? Tell me in the comments below. I'll see you next time for another LEGO video. Maybe this will be on the wall. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel or on one of my other channels as well. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share with your friends.